The observation deck hummed with the quiet efficiency of a dozen species working in harmony. Holographic displays flickered across the circular chamber, each one cataloging artifacts from the Great Silence, that mysterious era when the precursors had vanished, leaving behind technology that still defied understanding. Dr. Lyra Hemsley stood before the largest display, her fingers dancing across the haptic interface with practiced ease. The human engineer had spent the better part of 3 years on Station Kepler 9, dedicated to one singular purpose: understanding the beings who had come before. Behind her, KL7 observed with the patient curiosity that defined his kind. Dr. Hemsley. The synthetic's voice carried the melodic quality his creators had programmed, designed to put organic species at ease. The archival scan is complete. We have successfully restored audio-visual data from Precursor Combat Vessel Designation Alpha Theta 9. Lyra's heart quickened. Combat footage. Actual visual records from inside a Precursor Fighter. In 3 years, they'd recovered hundreds of ships, thousands of data fragments, but never anything like this. The Precursors had been ghosts, powerful, advanced, but utterly silent. Until now. "Play it," she commanded, her voice steady despite the electricity running through her veins. The hologram shifted, expanding to fill the center of the observation deck. Other researchers noticed, abandoning their stations to witness history. A Vex 7 diplomat floated closer, its translucent form pulsing with interest. 2 Chronite warriors straightened their carapaces, mandibles clicking in anticipation. The image resolved into a cockpit's sleek, organic curves merged with crystalline technology. The pilot's seat faced a viewport that stretched across the entire forward section. And there, in that seat, sat a figure in armor that seemed to shift between solid and liquid states. "Remarkable," breathed the Vex 7. The neural integration alone, the figure moved, and the footage became chaotic. Warning lights erupted across alien displays. The viewport filled with vessels, hundreds of them, bearing markings that matched no known civilization. The battle had begun. KL7 leaned forward, his optical sensors focusing with mechanical precision. "Dr. Hemsley, preliminary analysis suggests this engagement occurred approximately 47,000 years ago, during the final conflict before the precursor disappearance." The pilot's hands moved across controls that seemed to respond to thought as much as touch. The fighter twisted through space with impossible grace. Weapons, fire streaking from its hull in patterns that suggested consciousness, as if the ship itself were alive, thinking, choosing its targets. "Audio coming online," announced the station's VI. Static filled the observation deck, then cleared. And then they heard it, taking heavy fire on the port shields, rerouting power from No, that's not going to work. Lyra felt the blood drain from her face. The voice was human. Unmistakably, undeniably human. Young, female, with an accent that suggested Earth's northern territories. But more than that, the voice was hers. "Systems are failing. I need more time," the recording continued. Panic threading through each word. "Why did I think I could fly this thing? Oh God. Oh God. They're everywhere." The observation deck erupted into chaos. Species that had evolved on worlds separated by thousands of light years all began speaking at once. The Chronites' clicking became frantic. The Vex 7's bioluminescence strobed in shock. A Talarian researcher's translator simply gave up, emitting a confused warble. But Lyra heard none of it. Her hand shot out, fingers stabbing at the mute control. "Mute the audio," she whispered urgently. "I sounded terrible back then." Silence crashed across the deck, both in the recording and among the researchers. Every eye, sensor, and optical array turned toward her. KL7's voice broke the stillness, calm and measured. "Dr. Hemsley, are you suggesting that humanity, are the precursors?" Lyra's jaw worked silently for a moment. On the hologram, her younger self, 47,000 years younger, was pulling off maneuvers that would make a modern ace pilot weep with envy, all while screaming about how she was absolutely going to die and never should have volunteered for this. Not exactly, Lyra finally managed. She ran a hand through her hair, a nervous gesture she'd never quite managed to break. It's complicated. Complicated? The Vex 7 pulsed a deep crimson anger in its species' color language. Your kind has been searching for the precursors for 2 centuries. The entire galactic community has devoted resources. We were looking for them too. Lyra interrupted, her own frustration bubbling up. Do you think we knew? The temporal displacement wasn't supposed to be permanent. We thought we'd lost the expedition. Not that they'd become the galaxy's greatest archaeological mystery. On the screen, her younger self had apparently gotten the fighter under control. The panic was fading from her voice, the audio was still muted. But her body language told the story. She was adapting, learning, becoming one with technology that would take millennia for others to even begin to understand. KL-7 processed this revelation with synthetic calm. The implications are substantial. If humans are temporally displaced, precursors, then your technological development, your rapid adaptation to galactic society, your unusual affinity for precursor artifacts. We've been reverse engineering our own technology, Lyra finished quietly. Badly, I might add. Turns out it's a lot easier to use advanced tech when you have 47,000 years of practice. A Chronite warrior stepped forward, its massive form somehow conveying confusion. But the precursors were described as beings of pure logic and perfection. The pilot in this recording is a terrified 23-year-old who got yanked through a temporal anomaly and had to learn to fight in technology she barely understood, Lyra offered. Yeah, that's us. That's humanity. We weren't some enlightened species that ascended to a higher plane. We were explorers who got stuck in the past and had to figure it out as we went. She turned back to the hologram, where her younger self was somehow winning the battle. One panicked decision at a time. We weren't perfect. We were scared, confused, and desperately trying not to die. But we adapted. We survived. And eventually, some of us found a way home. KL-7 tilted his head, a gesture he'd learned from observing humans. Dr. Hemsley, why did you come to this station? Why dedicate years to studying precursor technology if you knew the truth? Lyra smiled, sad and small. Because I needed to understand what we became, what we were forced to become, and maybe, she gestured, at the still muted recording, where her younger self was finally bringing the fighter in for a landing. Maybe I needed to forgive myself for sounding so terrible under pressure. The observation deck remained silent as the recording played on. A testament to humanity's greatest secret. The legendary precursors, beings of myth and mystery, had just been people trying their best in impossible circumstances. Just like everyone else in the galaxy, KL-7 stepped closer to the console. Dr. Hemsley, shall I restore the audio? For the historical record? Lyra considered it for a long moment, watching her younger self celebrating survival with what appeared to be very undignified whooping. Then, she smiled genuine this time. No, she said softly. Let them remember us as mysterious and perfect. The galaxy doesn't need to know that the precursors spent most of their battles screaming, "Oh crap! Oh crap! Oh crap!" Just like everyone else. But in her heart, she knew the truth. Humanity hadn't become legendary through perfection. They'd become legendary by being absolutely terrified and fighting anyway, one panicked decision at a time. And really, that was the most human thing of all.